Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Chat with a Rat, episode 9 with Dick Johnson.
C'est moi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Oh wait, I forgot your sign. Hold on, let me grab it, put it up.
All right.
You say something.
So, my real name is Dick Johnson, believe it or not, and yeah, when people find that out, they're like, "That's incredible. What were your parents thinking?" I was like, "I don't know. They named me after my great grandfather, Dick Johnson."
All right, okay. Put that headset mic down like I'm talking to people online. All right, here we go. Okay, so I'll start off by asking you the same question I ask everybody first. How long have you been doing comedy for?
Intermittently in my life, I did it a little bit in college. I didn't really have a good life world perspective, so I didn't have a lot of funny shit to say. And then I stopped that, and I came back in my 30s before all the pandemic happened and started doing that. Obviously, that all shut down. And then I actually met Lonnie January of 2021, and we started doing comedy together. He was outpacing me. He was like, "Man, I'm doing 3 mics a week."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this guy who's never done stand-up is out doing some guy who thinks he's doing stand-up." And I used Lonnie as a pace, and I just kept going out with him. And yeah, so consistently now for 17 months without stopping.
Okay. And how long, if you had to guess, how long do you think you might have done it before that?
When I was in college, it was probably 6 months. It was very nerve-wracking back then. Not as much now, you know. So probably like 6 months back then.
Okay. And so did you do you know any of the same people from back then that do comedy, or did you have like a group that you hung out with then?
Yeah,
or?
actually, I met Rashad, Art Zager, Joe Lemons. I met a couple other people that I've invited back out, but for whatever reason, they've moved on with their priorities.
Yeah. Okay, well that's cool. And that kind of reminds me of something I was going to ask you about. So I know that out of all of the comedians that hang out, you might not be the only one, but you're the only one that I know of that does improv a lot.
Yes.
And I was going to ask you, which one did you do first?
Stand up.
You did
For
stand up
sure.
first?
Yes.
Right on. And so like what, because I don't know a lot about improv. I've watched Whose Line Is It Anyway? But I don't think I've ever been to like an improv show that I can think of. I might have, I don't know. But what would you say is like the big difference between doing improv and doing stand-up?
The big difference with improv is when you're on the stage, you have a team to help you. If you don't know what's funny or what to do, somebody else can help carry the scene or help supplement what you're trying to get across in the scene. You know, if you're fixing a car engine and you're talking about what's going on with abortion rights, and you just can't find something that's funny, somebody else can come in and help you. But when it's stand-up, you're all on your own.
So with improv, you're always like in a group usually of some sort?
Usually you're doing 2-person or 3-person scenes. It's very rare to do 4 people or more because of just talking over each other.
Okay. And it's always laid out like that, like it's some sort of a scene that you're acting out?
There's scenes and games.
Okay.
I love the games. One of them is a debate. And so a topic will come up, and it's a rapid fire. You have to be on your toes. The whole team, the whole panel, everybody's an expert in some topic the crowd gives you. And then you put forward an argument about it, and someone will make an objection. And they'll try to counter your point. But
Okay.
then it's like Bugs Bunny. It goes off the rails. Your objection could be that their shirt is ugly.
Right.
And
right.
so then now you're trying to debate why that person's shirt's ugly.
Okay.
And then someone will say, objection, you're colorblind. And
Yeah,
so
alright.
it just devolves into silliness.
I see. Right on. So which one would you say that you prefer out of the two?
Stand up for sure.
Yeah.
Stand up is where you get to shine as an artist.
Yeah.
In your thoughts.
Yeah. It probably also has the biggest risk of failure also.
Yes, biggest risk reward for sure.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I was looking for. Risk reward. Yeah.
The improv is great because it helps with your rapid thinking and your funny muscle, because when you're in the moment, it's kind of like the stand-up unscripted where you pull something out of the bucket and you have to find what's funny in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
The improv is really like gym workouts for your creativity muscle.
Right on.
That's why I signed up for improv, was to improve, to feed into my stand-up.
Yeah. Right on. Well, that's cool. Let's see here. What is your biggest fear when it comes to comedy?
Oh man. For me, it's being on stage and not knowing what comes next in a thought or an idea, and just that 5-alarm silence that you hear from the crowd where you are dying, you know you're dying internally, there's no way to recover. Like that, it hasn't happened to me in a long time, but I did completely bomb on my face at Union Hall when I hosted, and that was painful.
I feel like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I feel like I would rather bomb. I don't know. I think I would rather bomb than just blank out on stage, because that's the worst. Because like you say, like your brain is just screaming, like fucking say something.
Yeah.
Just say fucking something.
The internal monologue in my head just sounds like a microphone next to a speaker.
Yeah. And it's just like you feel like there's just crickets. You're like, fuck, how long have I been saying nothing? I mean, it's probably been like 3 seconds, but it feels like fucking 3 hours.
That was stand-up in my 20s. That's why I only did it for like 6 months, because I didn't have a world perspective. I didn't have adult views formulated or opinions, and didn't know how to navigate things. I didn't even know that comedy had structures and triggers, and you can just lead your audience into them like a trap.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like there's a lot of comedians that we see that still don't realize that.
I know who you're talking about. I actually was speaking with them recently. I'm not going to say how long ago. And I said, hey, do you ever record yourself?
That's a good question.
And they said yes, and they told me that they listened to their recordings, and I was very surprised that they haven't improved.
I'm also surprised by that. Unbelievable. Jesus. I think they think they're killing it.
I know. I think they do. I think they think that too. And I want to just pull them aside and give them a big hug and tell them that they suck.
Yeah. Sometimes I want to do the same.
I'm just afraid of catching whatever they have.
Yeah.
I love you, Lonnie.
So what's the worst that you've ever bombed?
Oh. It was definitely in my 20s. I was at Austin's Coffee House, and I had taken a date. We were going out for the first time. She brought her girlfriend with her. Like, okay, I'm a stranger. I'm telling you to meet me at a place. You don't know me. You don't know the place. Cool. That's fine.
Right.
And I signed up on the list, and we sat through all the other college comics. And I had, my little notes and my little one-liners that I thought were so funny, And she tells me, hey, it's getting really late. I gotta go. So she leaves, and then I'm immediately called up to the stage. And I'm thinking, like, all right, I'm going to be really funny. I'm going to play this off. And I was like, yeah, I was here on a date, and she just left, which is great because if she's a masochist, so if I bomb, it's going to hurt extra bad. And I thought that was funny. And it just crickets, and the microphone feedback in the head started. And it's just like, oh.
Well, hey, at least you dodged a bullet with her leaving before you did that.
I didn't even have really any good material. It was all stupid one-liners. I actually saved all those jokes in a long note, and I went back and I said, okay, let's see if there's any premises I can bring to life and bring back. And there was like 2, and the rest of them was just, no, not ever gonna let anyone hear these thoughts.
I remember that the last girl that I was dating. We had only hung out, I don't know, like maybe like 2 or 3 times or something like that. And then I brought her to Laugh Out Lounge one night while I was performing. She had never heard any of my comedy or anything.
Oh my gosh, how did she receive it?
So I was like, she just like, but she was like all about. She's like, yeah, I'll come with you and watch you do stand up or whatever. She drove us out there and everything, and I was like, I went out, I performed or whatever, and that night it was one of the nights that I did pretty well, and like when I came off stage or whatever, we were talking about it, and I was like, "You're awfully brave to have, come out." No, she didn't drive that night. I drove that night. The first night I drove out there. She drove the next time. But I was like, "You were awfully brave to come out here with me," and like because I could have sucked and been not funny at all, and then you would have just been stuck here with me, and I still would have had to drive you back to your car at the very least, And she was like, yeah, I was actually thinking about that like the whole ride here. Like, I really hope this guy's funny. And I was like, well, you dodged a bullet with that. Because at least that night I was pretty funny. Let's see. So why did you decide to get into comedy in the first place?
I've always thought that I was a funny person, that I could see funny things or make people laugh. But one day when I was working at Apple in my 20s, I was walking to the food court. Huge Mitch Hedberg fan. And I just start talking to myself, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna make some Hedberg jokes. And I throw out a statement, and this is kind of how I write now. I just throw a statement out there and play with it. And I said, I'm an organ donor. Because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. It was the funniest thing I ever thought of.
Right.
So that's my very first joke, and it was in that long list of notes. I brought it back and plugged it in about a bit about organ donors and signing up on your driver's license to be an organ donor.
Okay.
In case I'm ever in an accident, if they can get, I'm an organ donor because mine's a terrible thing to waste. If you can get my brain into that body, we're cool.
I think I've seen you do that before.
I didn't really do it too long because it wasn't super funny, but
yeah,
I still kind of like just the idea, just a little one-liner.
Yeah, I can't remember it exactly, but that does sound familiar. Yeah. No, that's a good premise. Yeah, I don't remember the exact joke, but pretty funny premise at least. I do remember you doing it before though. I remember you saying that one time at least.
One time.
At least one time I remember you saying that. Who would you say are your biggest influences when it comes to like writing jokes?
Ooh, that's a good question. I really love the mainstream guys, the cream of the crop. I love how Louis C.K. structures his jokes and how he misdirects you. I love how Bill Burr cuts right to the core of something. And so I've tried to I touched a nuclear radioactive topic last night about transgender women, and I've seen what's blown back on people, but touching it just right and cutting right to women's equal pay.
Yeah.
I feel like I was on the safe line
there.
Yeah,
it was.
So,
so
those guys.
I was sitting next to LJ whenever you started that bit or that joke, and as soon as you started it, LJ was like, "Oh God," and I was like looking at him like, "Yeah, this might go bad." But no, you were right. Yeah. You tiptoed the line, and it was funny. That's a funny bit that you did. And,
I was expecting laughs on this one hit, and it took 1 second. The whole room collectively got it, and it was the biggest pop I've ever had on stage.
Oh, nice, good. Yeah, and sometimes it's like that. Sometimes you'll expect a big laugh at a certain part of a joke, but you get it at a completely unexpected part of it, and you're like, oh, I didn't even realize that was the funniest part, but okay, I guess, as long if it works, it works, as long as you guys laugh. I don't really care which part, whatever.
And sometimes I'll say something thinking that I'm saying it a specific way, and it will be really funny, and I don't know why what I said was funny, and I'll have to think about it for a week to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, why was that funny?
Right. Yeah, a lot of times, I don't know, I was thinking something similar to that the other day. I went back and was watching some recording that I had done, and there was like this. It wasn't even a joke. I was just like kind of like, what, not necessarily crowd work, but like saying something to the crowd or whatever. And like what I said wasn't even really funny, but the crowd fucking was dying that I said it. You know, like they just thought it was so fucking funny or whatever. And I was like, that wasn't even really funny what I said. Yeah, like I basically just like pointed something someone was doing out or something, you know, and like they're like, ah, you know, I thought it was. And I'm like, why is that? So like people think that shit's so funny, but I think the crowd just likes to be included sometimes.
Yes.
And like also I think that they think it's funny if like anytime you poke fun at anyone in the crowd or anything, like people just fucking love that shit. It doesn't even have to be good. They just fucking think it's hilarious. Like, so yeah. But I do think that yeah, people eat that shit up like if they feel like it, I guess, included in it or something.
I was driving to LOL and I told this story. I mean, I had a set list made and I scrapped it because on my way to LOL, I drove through a place called Kville. Only locals will know what Kville is.
Yeah.
And so I kind of shit on the name Kville, you know, that's where you go when you're high on ketamine and this and that. And
why does that name sound familiar?
it's called Kossuthasville, and it's way out on Memorial between Lakeland and Winter Haven, or Auburndale, I mean. And
I wonder if I used to deliver out there. That sounds really familiar to me for some reason.
I drove past
and it's not because of the ketamine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get that from a different area.
So I drove past these 5 mobile homes that were all within arm's reach of each other, and there was an armored personnel carrier vehicle in the driveway, and a 10-year-old girl was driving it. And as I passed it, a police squad car turns its lights on and pulls into the property. And I realized this was a cutscene to GTA 5. And like I told this story on stage, not even exaggerating or making anything outlandish. Just told the story, and it killed. But I could only do that there because
right.
I got to have that local knowledge.
Yeah. A lot of jokes are like that too. And I've learned a lot of jokes I'll think of, and I'll realize they're way too niche to tell on a regular stage. And they'll be fucking funny to me. I'll be like, and if I had the right crowd of people who knew what I was talking about, this would fucking kill, because it's a hilarious joke. But the general public will have no fucking idea what I'm talking about, you know?
I went to my manager and I said, hey, I got a joke for you. What did the David say to the Venus de Milo? And he looks at me like, what? And I go, 3 inches, rock hard. And he goes, what the fuck is a David? What the fuck? And I was like, there's a statue. And there are 2 statues. And like I had to explain. He goes, no, you got to dumb this down. You got to dumb it down. And I was like, okay, what did a man say to a woman? 3 inches rock hard. I was like, this joke doesn't work. It's like,
not funny anymore.
Not funny anymore. Yeah, like the intellectual jokes, you got to make sure the crowd's on your side.
Unless you're art, and then you just don't give a fuck. You're just like, you get it or you don't get it, I'm fucking telling this shit, boy.
Yeah.
I love him for that.
Oh, Art's great.
I could never do it. You're like, he goes up there knowing damn well. He's like, he can scan the room and be like, 90% of these people have no clue what I'm about to talk about, doing it anyways.
Hey, so speaking of that, I'm really surprised that so many people know the Alive movie, and you don't even address the name of it, but so many. Every time I hear you do it, it gets laughs. It kills.
Well, here's the thing. I thought that too at first. I was like, man, I didn't ever realize how many people have seen this movie, right? I was kind of shocked also at first. Then I had this other comedian, this dude from Orlando. He told me one night, I think he's from Orlando. He told me one night, he said, dude, your fucking funniest joke, the one that fucking killed me, dude, is that one fucking joke about eating ass or whatever. And I was like, oh yeah, I was like, yeah, that one does pretty well most of the time. I was like, and I said, I don't remember how I put it, but I said something about like, so you know, you've seen Alive or whatever, like Mitch. And he was like, no, I have no. What the fuck are you talking about? And I was like, you've never seen the movie? And he was like, no, I don't even know what that is. And I was like, and you still think the joke is funny? And he was like, yeah. Well, he was like, yeah, it's fucking funny. He was like, because like a Brazilian soccer team, he's like, you know, and like Brazilians have big asses, and a fucking soccer team is obviously gonna have even bigger asses.
I didn't even think of it that way.
Yeah, I never did either. So I was like, oh, okay. So I guess it's funny if either way, you know. So I think that's why it works all the time. Because at first I was kind of shocked too. I was like, all these people have seen this movie, you know. But yeah, I don't know. So I guess like, and he's told me that was his favorite joke that I told, and
That's
he's never even
crazy.
seen the movie. So yeah.
When we were in the parking lot and I was like, hey, I think you could do the joke and do it shorter and say, I eat more ass than the Donner Party. Then I heard you do your joke again and you bring it back around. Like, it's not just more ass than a Brazilian plane crash. You bring it back around and you go like, I'm not going to tell you how it ends. Like, it's so much funnier than just getting a joke across. And again, not everybody knows about the Donner Party.
Right.
People younger than us would have no clue.
I don't know if you heard me do it the other
But Dino
night.
and Mary Kay would definitely know it.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard me do it the other night, but I actually used it after you we're talking about the Donner Party. I was like, I can do something with that, and I did a joke the other night. I can't remember if it was at Pink or somewhere. I did a joke about the Donner Party where I said something like my ex texted me and asked me if I liked parties, and I was like, yeah, the Donner Party. Anyways, now we're going to a dinner party. Fucking autocorrect.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So I used it. I did something with
That's
it. And I don't
awesome.
think anyone fucking laughed when I told it, but like I think it was at Pink, so there was probably like 4 people watching me. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll try it on a bigger audience sometime. I need to work on it a little bit, but that's the premise of it.
I love it when I give people tags or a joke idea or
Yeah.
premise and see it go. Like, I gave one to Miles, and I was like, I don't want to give it away because he does it, but I'm like, Miles, all you have to say is ba ba ba. That's the whole joke. These 3 words,
Yeah.
and they will get it. And he came
Right.
back and he goes, I use it. It kills.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's always good whenever you can give people advice and then you see that it works, you know.
You can't get any shorter than a 3-word joke.
Right, yeah.
Oh, I did tell Mike Lee last night. He has a joke about pulling something out and flinging it around.
Yeah,
I go,
yeah,
dude,
yeah.
you gotta say you're making a Jackson Pollock. He thought about it and he goes, oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Mike actually gave me some advice about that Alive joke we were just talking about last night. He was saying like, oh, instead of just saying like, I won't give away the ending, you should do the end of that joke like this. And what he told me is funny, and I'm going to try it. I don't know if it will work as good, but I'm going to try it because
Okay.
it is funny. It's funny to me, but I was just like in my head like picturing me tell it on stage with my delivery. And I don't know if it'll work as good, but I'm gonna give it a shot because it is fucking fun. So we'll see. So what's the biggest show you've ever been a part of?
Okay. This was crazy. It was an improv show, and it was the opening. It was near the opening weekend of LOL. I think this was like a private grand opening. Mike had invited all his friends and family, and we were doing an improv
Rashad
show.
was talking about that whenever I talked to him on here.
It was completely full. That whole little room had 100 people in it, and we did, as students, I was still in the student program at the improv, and
How does that work?
Swan City Improv does classes, and they're once a week, and they go for, I think, 8 weeks, and they go over fundamentals and basics and kind of give you the structure of how improv works. And then, it's up to you to work with it.
Okay.
And so we did a show on that tiny ass stage. We did 3-person scenes, and it killed. We brought the house down, and it was just, there was so much energy. I was like, I gotta get in front of people like this.
Yeah.
This is great.
Dude, that room is fucking amazing.
It is. It's
so
so
good.
is.
And like I don't know if you've been to any like the weekend shows there, like they have.
I have not yet.
Because I just started doing sound on like not every weekend, but some weekends. Like this whole, I'm running sound Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this
Nice.
weekend. But yeah, I mean I ran like a sound for like a couple of those shows on the weekend, and it's like the open mic nights are good and fun most of the time. But like it fucking fills up, dude, and it's like a completely different beast when that room is full.
That's
It's
why I want to
crazy.
become an MC. I want to learn. I want to not learn. I'd like to develop my hosting skills. I'd like to develop my crowd work ability. And again, that quick, spontaneous thinking. I
Yeah.
was watching Mark Norman. Someone shouted out, "Black Hasidic Jews," and right off the top of his head, boom, he hit one with, "You got the curliest hair in the world," and he goes, "Your yarmulke, you wear it to the side," and I mean, like without even missing a beat.
Right.
And I don't feel
right.
like I'm there comedically yet. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Sometimes you just get lucky. You just happen to have a thought in your head when somebody says something, but it definitely doesn't always work that way. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm excited because next weekend, 27th and 28th, I have a guest spot opening for Kyle Roos
Nice.
on Friday night, and then Saturday night he's doing that Hot Mess show.
What's that?
And so you do 5 minutes of comedy, then you have to eat 2 hot wings that are slathered in 5 million Scoville hot sauce.
You told me about this.
Yeah, and then do 5 more minutes of comedy, I
Oh
guess.
my god, I would love this. I've got to
Yeah,
get
you
on
eat
this
hot
list.
shit all the
I eat
time.
hot shit all the time. I ate the one chip challenge, and it was a walk in the park.
Yeah.
I bought a little nitro. I haven't done it yet. It's supposed to be 9 million. I'm a little nervous. I also got the Toe of Satan, and I've got the Death Nut challenge.
I need to start practicing for that. I need to get some of those things and eat them.
It helps. I bought one of the hot sauces off of Hot Ones, the bomb sauce. That is the hottest sauce I've
That's
ever
the
eaten.
one that everyone is always like,
Yes.
fuck when
Oh
they
yeah.
eat it.
Yeah. That's a trap. And I dipped a toothpick and I licked it, and it gave me the hiccups. It was awful. But the next
Jesus.
time that I ate it, I did it with my brother. I didn't have hiccups anymore. It was like a weird immunity kind of thing. My body had already had that level of shock.
Right.
It knew how to make me sweat. So
I need to prepare for the show. Then I need to get some hot shit and do that.
you eat this stuff and you will have some hot shit.
Yeah. I mean, but like I eat a lot of hot stuff. Like, but the thing is, like, and I feel like there's a difference. Like, and maybe I'm just fucking crazy. I don't know. But like, I eat a lot of Mexican food. I fucking love Mexican food. And every time I go to like, and like I like authentic Mexican food. Like I eat from fucking taco trucks and shit. I love
Nice.
that shit. And like I'm always like, give me like the hottest sauce you have, you know. And they're always like, gringo, no, you don't want this, you know. I'm like, you don't know what I want, I do, you know. And I'll just fucking pour that shit on there and eat it. I love it. I can eat like the hottest hot sauce, and I eat every fucking drop of it.
Can I tell you about the Thai restaurant around the corner from?
Oh yeah, I've seen you eat that shit. Yeah.
So I got this wonton or lemongrass soup, and I ordered it Thai hot, and it came back. It was kind of spicy. I go back next week and I talked to the owner, and I was like, hey, I think your Thai hot's a little bitch ass. Like I had it. It wasn't that strong. And I ordered some drunken noodles, and she goes, you want stronger Thai hot? I said, yeah. She goes, okay, I'll tell chef. And she rips the ticket off, holds it over her head like a banner, and walks into the kitchen. I'm like, oh, I'm fucked. She goes back there instantly in Taiwanese or whatever language she speaks. She starts shouting at the chefs, and I hear all of them collectively, ha, 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 ha. Like, oh, shit. Then she says something like, like she's mocking me, clearly.
Right,
and all of them, ha, 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 ha. I'm like, oh. She comes out, and she's trying to be pencil-lipped and not, like, laugh or smile. She said, you tell me how it is when you come back. And so I ate it, and it lit me up. She said,
I know that one day you were fucking sweating.
Thai
because you were
hot.
eating that shit.
Thai hot's 5 stars. She said she gave me 7, and then I came back the next week and I asked for 9. And at some point, there's just a diminishing return to heat, but 9-star Thai hot is pretty warm.
I can
Pretty
imagine.
warm. And
Yeah.
I love it. I love experiencing the food.
Yeah. And that's something like I love Mexican hot sauce and hot shit, but I feel like there's a difference between that and like hot wings hot, because I've had like some hot wing sauce before, and like it didn't like fuck me up, but like I ate it. Like I remember I went to like the Renaissance Fair that they had like
Okay.
last year or whatever, or maybe 2 years ago, I don't know. And they had like this guy like a little hot sauce thing or whatever, and you could like dip these like I think they're pieces of bread or cracker or something like each hot sauce, and I ate like all of them like up to the hottest one, and and the shit was fucking hot, bro. I was like, woo!